thought it was over. They spoke of you in past tense, a name that once held weight, but had since faded into irrelevance. They convinced themselves you had been broken, reduced to another cautionary tale, a man who reached too high and fell too far. They reveled in your absence, mistaking silence for surrender, mistaking retreat for defeat. But they were blind. They failed to understand the nature of storms, the way they vanish beyond the horizon, only to return with a vengeance. And now, as the ground trembles beneath their feet, as the sky darkens with the weight of your return, they finally grasp the truth. The king is back, and he did not return empty-handed. He brought hell with him. You gave them time to celebrate, time to relax, time to believe in the lie that you were gone for good. You let them bask in their illusion. Let them write you out of the story. Let them turn your name into a footnote. But they should have known better. You were never the kind to fade quietly. You were never meant to be forgotten. They should have seen the warning signs, the stillness before the reckoning, the whispers in the wind, the feeling in the air that something terrible was coming. And now, it is here. Now you stand before them once more, not as the man they betrayed, not as the man they buried, but as something else entirely, something greater, something unstoppable. They want to believe you are the same as before, that the wounds of the past have left you fragile, that you can still be undone. But you are not here to convince them. You are not here to explain, to justify, to ask for recognition. You have no interest in proving anything to the weak. You are here to take, to reclaim, to remind them why your name was feared in the first place. And as they watch, frozen in the weight of their own regret, they begin to understand that this is not a second chance for them. This is judgment. This is wrath. This is the inevitable consequence of underestimating a man who refused to die. They built their empires in your absence, propped up their fragile thrones, spoke with the arrogance of those who believed the war had been won. But their foundations were built on borrowed time, on the assumption that you would never return. They thought they were safe, that the past was dead, that the shadow of what they did would never darken their doorstep again. And yet, here you are, standing where they swore you would never stand again, unbroken, unchained, unmerciful. The sins they buried have clawed their way back to the surface, demanding a reckoning. And you are more than willing to deliver. There is no need for anger, no need for theatrics. The weight of your presence alone is enough to shatter them. They see it in your eyes, the cold, merciless stare of a man who has returned, not for redemption, but for destruction. You do not speak in threats. You do not need to. Your existence is the threat. Your survival is the vengeance. Every breath you take is a reminder that they failed, that their schemes were futile, that everything they built in your absence was nothing more than a house of cards awaiting the right storm. And you are that storm. They will beg. They will bargain. They will tell themselves that if they just play their cards right, they can survive this. But they cannot. Because this is not a negotiation. This is not a battle they can win with words. This is fate catching up to them, the inevitable force of consequence finally demanding its due. And there will be no mercy. You did not return to forgive. You did not return to settle old wounds with hollow gestures of reconciliation. You came to remind them that some debts do not go unpaid, that some kings do not relinquish their crowns. You can already see the fractures forming in their once confident expressions. The same voices that mocked you now struggle to find words. The same hands that once pointed at your failure now shake, uncertain of what comes next. They would do anything to turn back time, to undo their mistakes, to silence the past before it rose from its grave. But there are no second chances. There is no mercy for those who celebrated your downfall. And the most painful truth of all, you do not even hate them. You do not need to. You are beyond hatred, beyond anger. You are something purer, an executioner whose blade has been waiting far too long to fall. Let them tremble. Let them curse their own arrogance. You are not here to be recognized, to be welcomed back, to be placed among them once more. You are here to burn what they built in your absence, to reduce their illusions to dust, to ensure that when history speaks of you, it does so with reverence, with fear, with the understanding that you were never just another contender. You were always inevitable. And now, as the fire you brought spreads through the halls of their fragile empire, they finally understand the gravity of their mistake. There's no satisfaction in this, no triumphant laughter, no celebratory conquest. This is not about ego. This is about balance, about restoring what was taken, about claiming what was always meant to be yours. And when the dust settles, when the ruins of their arrogance lie in silence, you will walk away, not as a man seeking applause, but as a force that reshaped the world by simply refusing to kneel. Let them whisper your name with caution. Let them rebuild in the shadow of the lesson you have taught them. The king has returned, and the world will never forget the fire he brought with him. You were never gone. You were merely waiting, watching, preparing. And now, the moment has arrived. The reckoning is here. They will remember this day, not as the day you returned, but as the day their illusions died. The king is back, and he did not come alone. He brought hell with him. They tried to steal your mind, not with chains, not with force, but with slow, insidious erosion. They fed you doubts, poisoned you with whispers, made you question the fire that once raged within. They sought to break you not through war, but through exhaustion. They wanted you compliant, diluted, defanged. They wanted you to hesitate, to second guess, to kneel before the weight of their manipulations. But they made a grave miscalculation. Because what they did not realize was that a mind pushed to the brink does not collapse. It evolves. It reforges itself into something beyond fear, beyond weakness, beyond hesitation. And now, as you stand on the precipice of your rebirth, you feel it. The surge of something unstoppable, something primal, something that no force on this earth can restrain. You will reclaim your sanity with ruthless action and earth-shattering willpower, and nothing, not gods nor men, will stand in your way. Hesitation has been burned from your being. Indecision has been exiled. You have purged yourself of the illusions they tried to embed into your psyche. No more seeking approval. No more explaining. No more waiting for permission to be what you were always meant to become. They trained you to be careful, to move delicately, to question your own instincts. But those lessons are dead now. They died in the fire that reignited your soul. And in their place, only absolute certainty remains. You will move forward with the force of an avalanche, crushing everything that dares to stand in your path. There will be no apologies. There will be no regrets. Only motion. Only progress. Only the iron will of a mind that has reclaimed itself from the depths of their corruption. They will not recognize you. The version of you they thought they had control over no longer exists. They will look into your eyes and see something cold, something unyielding, something beyond their comprehension. They will feel the shift, the change, the death of the old self they once manipulated so easily. And in that realization, they will know fear, because there's no reasoning with a mind that has chosen itself above all else. There's no bargaining with a force that has decided it will never again be shackled. You have stripped away every weakness they installed in you. You have erased every limit they tried to carve into your bones. You are no longer a man uncertain of his own power. You are a storm, a force of nature that will no longer be denied. Your will is no longer a flickering flame. It is a wildfire, consuming all doubt, all hesitation, all remnants of the man they once subdued. They wanted you to play their game, to exist within their carefully crafted rules, to accept their definitions of strength and weakness. But now, you have rewritten the rules. Now, you understand the truth. There is no law but your own. There is no higher force dictating what you can and cannot do. There's only your will, your vision, your power to reshape reality itself. And with that understanding, you move, not cautiously, not tentatively, but with the relentless force of a being that has already won the war before it has even begun. They will try to slow you down. They will reach for the old tactics, the ones that used to work. The guilt, the doubt, the endless second-guessing they once embedded into your mind. But you are immune now. Their words are meaningless. Their disapproval carries no weight. They are nothing but static noise against the thunderous certainty of your rebirth. You have outgrown them, outpaced them, evolved beyond their reach. And now, they are the ones trapped in their own powerlessness, trapped in the realization that they have no control over you anymore. The moment they see it, the moment they understand the full extent of what you have become, they will do the only thing left for them to do. They will fear you. You will not stop. You will not slow. This is not a phase, not a fleeting burst of rebellion. This is permanent. This is the final transformation of a soul that will never again be tamed.